Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into round 3 of the Ride365.com Nationals, powered by Versus PC, here from Thunder Valley, the MX Simulator Pro Series here tonight. And my name is Kellen Brauer, live here on Stereo Systems TV, and I'm joined as always by the one and only Chris Riesenberg. What's going on tonight, Chris?
I'm just kicking it, buddy. I'm ready to watch some dirt bikes. We're out of California, and we got a pretty wide open track here in Thunder Valley, and I think it's going to break the racing wide open.
Heck yeah, I'm pumped for it tonight, and just going to throw this out there real quick. Still a little bit under the weather, as some of you may know from my videos this week, so Chris might end up doing some of the majority of the talking tonight. I'm just trying to save myself so I don't get sicker. But hopefully we'll make it through the program good, and if you guys have anything that you want to bring up or anything you want changed with the program tonight, please be sure to let us know in the comments in the chat, and we'll try to get that sorted if Chris is too quiet or if anything is going on like that. But let's get started on discussing Thunder Valley tonight. We got the 250 class coming up first, and Jared Seidhoff coming in, points leader, wins the opener, believe won last week as well. I mean, is there any stopping Jared Seidhoff at this point, Chris?
He's been just solid as can be, and I mean the bad news for everyone is he's already pulled out quite a points lead. Jeremy Smith sitting second in points, but he's not going to be at all the rounds. He's already said he's going racing in real life, and he's got to travel for nationals. So he's got a massive, looks like 25 points already, a full moto over Rush Chapman, who sits third in points. And then one more point back, 26 points back, is Colton Mitchell, who's got to be the guy to watch right now, I would think, is Mitchell again this week, third week in a row. He's been our fastest qualifier. So he's got the speed, but he hasn't had the starts thus far.
Yeah, that's been the telling story for Mitchell, absolutely, is that he can't seem to start up front. But when he does start up front, he seems to run up there for the most part, as it looks like we have just now loaded in our Consolation race. Just want to check that.
Yep. Yeah, we got 12 riders going 4 laps here. We're going to take 4 to the main, and we'll kind of talk about this race and watch it, and also continue to run down the qualifying a little bit. The surprise might maybe is probably the Craig Leak running up second qualifier. We haven't really seen some of the magic that we saw from him outdoors last year this season, but maybe he's going to get back on track now that we're out of California, maybe adapting to this track a little bit better. Seidhoff, of course, defending champion, qualifies third. And Stanley Steamer, Bryce Whelan, was fourth fastest. And then Brock Pearson's been really good, and he qualified fifth fastest. We're off and running here in this consi. It's Tyler Schmidt and Reno Brennan out front right now in the 1 and 2 spots. Dale Mullins and Jack Gatland right now have the transfer spots. Like Brandon Hedge, Ben Toy right on the outside looking in. We've seen them in the consis. We got some riders down, Gatland and Hedge on the ground, so it's going to mix things up a little bit. Allow Aaron Bonneau to move up into the 4th spot, who had a pretty solid Supercross season, but we didn't get a chance to see him. I don't think he's made a race yet outdoors as far as qualifying, so right now running up into the 3rd spot, battling out with Jake Warden.
Yeah, I believe you're right about Bono, and these guys are going to go 4 laps, and the top 4 transfer into the motos tonight if you're joining us for the first time here on SYS TV. This is the Consolation race, and these guys will be joining the Fast 36 qualifiers out of the 250 class to make up a 40-man field, which will run 2 30-minute plus 2-lap motos coming up here in just a minute. So we'll see these guys getting through and into the motos and see who makes it.
And absolutely, all these guys' gate picks pretty much going to be terrible, so the battle for the lead is pretty good right now between Tyler Schmidt and Reno Brennan, but they want to keep it clean, stay on 2 wheels, get through. Jake Warden, Aaron Bonneau, of course, in the transfers, and they have about a 2-second gap back to Mullins, who's kind of the guy to keep an eye on right now to see if he can close that gap.
Yeah, you're right. Top 4 are breaking away just a little bit here as they work through the back half of the track, coming down towards the finish line. Always seems like we have surprises in this Consolation race, and I definitely see that Tyler Schmidt not making it through directly into the motos might be kind of the biggest shock out of this one.
Yeah, knowing is such a great starter helps so much in these short 4-lap races, but what would make me nervous is the 4 guys are in transfers, but they're all really close together. One little mistake from one of them could very well take a couple out. And Mullins is closing that gap from 5th up to 4th, and he's going to get a gift right there. As Reno Brennan, who was leading here for a little bit in the first lap, has found the ground and out of a transfer spot.
So that's going to open up a really big gap behind those guys because Brendan was still able to get up in the 5 spot. He's battling with Steven Azarkowicz of the DX3 team, but they're pretty far back.
We've seen him this year.
Yeah.
Zarkowicz missed the first 2 races. just got his membership signed up this week and is joining us back for some racing on the DX3 ride, running the chest protector. Nice looking setup there. Oh, almost gets into the back of Brennan. But yeah, those guys are almost 10 seconds off the final transfer. So if you're in that top 4, your strategy right now has to be stay on 2 wheels and run a reasonably fast pace.
Right, and Azarkowicz and Brennan battling each other doesn't help them at all because they're not really pushing each other. They're kind of battling for 5th amongst themselves and losing time in the process.
A nice 4-rider pack actually coming down the big downhill, but they're all well out of a transfer spot. Need to just race forward.
Mullins just went down in the 4th spot, so he's going to lose that trail with those 4 guys up front, but he's still pretty comfortably ahead of Brennan back there.
Pop back to the front of the pack. We see Tyler Schmidt. See how he's getting around the track? Down this big sweeper, and he's going to use the smoother outside line. Cut back in. He's got some pressure from Jake Warden.
Yeah, Warden's giving him a lot of pressure. You're absolutely right about that. Both of them just made a small mistake, but Warden looks awful comfortable going after the 2016 250 East Supercross champion here.
Wow, crazy update in chat. We were just talking about Rush Chapman being 3rd in points and the one really in striking distance since Smith wasn't going to be there. Chapman will be not racing tonight, he says. So says real life is more important, must have something going on, but that's going to really open things up for your points leader side hop and put the pressure on Colton Mitchell to get something done tonight to keep this thing a championship battle.
Well, we've kind of been waiting, including Supercross, for Colton Mitchell to break through. He's always had a lot of good speed, but just never really put it together. So maybe this is the time where he shines now that everybody else is kind of going to miss out. I mean, we might see Jeremy Smith here tonight, but like you said, he's not racing the full national schedule. And with all this pressure on Mitchell to go after Seidhoff, maybe he shines through now. Or maybe he doesn't. I guess we're going to have to find out.
Yeah, I feel like he's just got to figure out the starts, which seems so simple, but you see guys like Tyler Schmidt, you just almost expect him to get a whole shot, and with Colton, you almost expect him not to get a good start. And you get mired in the pack, you lose so much time in those early laps, and it allows a guy like Seidhoff, who doesn't make a lot of mistakes, to break away.
Right. And Seidhoff is, I mean, we've noted it through the first couple rounds here. Seidhoff has been just kind of quietly solid, like just gets decent starts, like right inside of the top 10, maybe even outside of the top 10, and then just lets all the chaos happen, and then works his way towards the front. And that's pretty much how he won at Hangtown. Just let all the chaos happen around him.
Oh, speaking of chaos, our leader just went down. Tyler Schmidt, I believe he should be fine for a transfer spot, but he does get back going in 3rd, gives up the lead to Jake Warden. Aaron Bonneau goes by, Schmidt back going in 3rd. Of course, Dale Mullins runs in the 4 ride.
And Hedge is closing in a little bit now from 5th. So it's tightening up for Mullins. He's going to have to keep his toes nice and pretty here, trying to get away from Hedge once again. Oh, and that is Schmidt down again. And he's going to get up just in front of Hedge here. This is the battle for the final transfer to the Motos now.
And looks like a rider getting back going. That is Mullins. Now we have a 3-rider battle. Only 2 of them are going to transfer here. And maybe Reno Brennan capitalizes. He's not that far back in 6th. If these guys get together, maybe 2 of them go down. It'll open the door for him.
Fantastic action in this consolation
Hedge
race.
Goes in deep, gets into the back of Mullins, stays on the bike somehow, and Mullins pulls it off. An accidental overjump there. That's going to put Reno Brennan in 5th. He's got 4 seconds and 1 lap to get it done, and Mullins is sliding out off the track. He's got to get back going safely. Does so, but he's got a battle on his hands as Hedge is going to be coming down the outside, and Brennan right there.
Oh,
and
Hedge
is down. Now Reno Brennan again into 5th. He can see the spot in front of him, and the white flag is out.
I believe this might be Brennan's first chance to make the Motos. I don't recognize the name, unfortunately. Sorry for that, but I don't think I've ever seen him race in this Pro National before. That'd be cool to see him in the show tonight, but obviously Dale Mullins is going to try to hold this thing to the finish line. We'll see if he can do it.
Maybe looking a little nervous, kind of blew the rut down there at the bottom of the hill, which is usually a pretty simple one to get into. Brennan, nothing to lose. He can just lay down some hot laps. He was leading this thing at one point early in the first lap.
Yeah,
Another mistake from Mullins.
Mullins is making mistakes. You're right about that.
Oh, Schmidt's down at the bottom of the hill. So is he going to be the one to lose the spot?
Yes, he will.
He drops
Yeah.
to 5th, but he's going to go right back inside. Jumps to the outside. He goes down again.
Oh, Schmidt.
So Reno Brennan now has the pressure on him, and Schmidt's going to have to try to make some magic happen here. Takes a little bit of the pressure off Dale Mullins, who is making a few mistakes. Reno Brennan now does have something to lose, so does that change how he rides? And Schmidt has a freight train of guys behind him, but he can't worry about them. He's got to go forward right now.
Right. Reno has rode a pretty solid race since his crashes earlier on. He's kind of gathered himself back up and just put a couple consistent laps together. So we'll see if that does phase him a little bit now that he's back in a transfer spot. But so far he's looking all right.
At 6 seconds back, he's going to need a mistake. Not necessarily a legs off, but at least a slide out, I think, to get there. Laying it all on the line, ripping through the corners. Tyler Schmidt is on the move. Close the gap under 5 seconds.
Oh, man, coming to the line. We have a battle for the win in this Consolation race. Warden and Bonneau going at it, and Warden just hangs on.
Bonneau going to make his first motos of the season. Looks like Dale Mullins is going to get through safely, so it's going to come down. Can Reno Brennan just pull off one more straightaway and corner and take that final transfer from Tyler Schmidt? Mullins is through. Here comes Brennan.
And he does it. Reno Brennan going through.
Tyler Schmidt is off the bike, so cuts won't even matter at this point. There's our field set. So Jake Worden, Aaron Bonneau, Dale Mullins, and Reno Brennan will join the other 36 riders in Moto number 1 of the 250 class here in just a moment.
Wow, kind of surprised there. I felt like even though Schmidt isn't the best outdoors, that he probably would have been the favorite to win this moto, and it came off the rails real quick there after that crash on the 3rd lap.
Those fall-offs in a short moto will definitely catch up with you. I'm guessing the fact that he was even in this Consolation means he didn't probably have a lot of time on the track, and that'll bite you.
It's a good point. Well, Jake Warden goes through with Bonneau, Mullins, and Brennan. All these guys will be in the motos coming up here in just a moment.
So I mentioned a little bit during the beginning of the show, it's a little more open track this week. I don't know if you've had a chance to ride it very much. What do you think does that change the riding style at all for this week's track?
Yes, I have had a chance to ride it, and I do think that it changes the style in that you're going to see more creative lines being used where not necessarily everybody will be funneling into the same line, but not necessarily everybody will be even funneling into that rut. There's going to be a lot of like kind of hopping in and out of ruts and taking some different lines to try to make passes in general. Because the track is so wide, there's a lot of room to play with, and it's not like if you blow the inside rut, you go off the track immediately. You can blow the inside rut and maybe skip over a rut or two and still hit hook like the middle rut in some of these corners. So yeah, I definitely think it's going to change the riding style for some of these guys. They're going to probably push the envelope a little bit harder, especially on some of these inside ruts. And just in general, I think the pace of the race will go up because of that.
Absolutely, and that leads me straight into our moto option, keys to the moto. Number 1 is going to be use the track and use those lines, as you said, not following, especially in those early laps. Avoid the big crashes that are over a lot of these blind jumps to not run into the field. Don't just follow everyone around the rail outside ruts. Use the lines. Other one, of course, is going to be clean first lap. You got to stay out of trouble on the first lap. You can take a 30th place start and turn it into a top 10 first lap if you just stay out of trouble. Avoid the crashes by using the racetrack. And the other thing, it's going to be that big triple on the backside I saw in the Consolation race. Some of the guys were getting it, some weren't. And it's going to be not to go for it if you can't get the run at it and just scrub it and stay low. Don't give up 10 seconds instead of half a second.
All right.
We are off for the warm-up lap here. Make sure everybody is loaded in, and it looks like we have 40 riders on the field, so we're good to go. And, of course, it's about time for that versuspc.com one to watch. And I'm going to check out who we're going to keep an eye on this week. Going through the field, finding my guy. Oh, let's see. Looks like I found my guy.
All right.
Running in the 26th place right now during the warm-up lap. The number 70 of Jake Rose. He's coming in here, 14th fastest qualifier. He's been solid. He's running 9th in points right now. A best finish of a 3rd in a moto. Remember, he got on the podium, his first ever RF podium. Let's see if he can back it up here at Thunder Valley. So we'll keep an eye on the ever good rider, number 70, Jake Rose.
All right, keep that in mind, folks. We got to check up regularly during these motos with that versus PC one to watch. We'll keep track of Mr. Rose's progress as well as the other runners through the field. But how about we entertain some picks here, Chris? What do you think is going to happen in this first moto? Have you got any preludes to this one that you can maybe pick some top threes for us?
I'm going to spit them out, not in a particular order. I'm going to say Bryce Whelan, Colton Mitchell, and Jared Seidhoff. And I'll throw them right in that order as well.
All right. Chris has picked Bryce Whelan to win Moto 1. We're going to hold him to that, but it is time to go racing here at Thunder Valley. We're going to take a look at our fastest qualifier. Actually, let's look a little bit more middle of the gate. And, I find Chase Donovan on the inside. So here we go. Board is sideways. It's time to go racing from Thunder Valley. Strap up those boots. Let's go racing, boys.
Gates down. Not a good start. I saw for the 10. He got shut off early. Who does get a good start? Devin Ryan. Relax the tire. Suzuki out front, and our one to watch runs up into the number 2 ride. It's Jake Rose on that number 70 Ever Good ride.
All right, so great start for Ryan. He's riding that new 18 Zook, and he's got, like you said, the one to watch right behind him. Behind that, we got Ivan Medina battling it out with Walter Gebhardt on the 73, who had a great week at Glen Helen last week. And another great start for Walter Gebhardt, still privateering it up.
Was in 4th, goes down on the first downhill, finding, let's see, Colton Mitchell's in 7th, Craig Leake, your second fastest qualifier, 6th, and another one of those relaxed tire guys up in the 4 ride.
Yeah, they're looking really good early on. Oh, there is your fastest qualifier, Colton Mitchell. He just moved into the 5 spot, so a good start for Mitchell this time. No sign yet, at least on our leaderboard, of the number 1 machine, Jared Seidhoff.
Now Smith's back in 8th. Looking through the field, I found Whelan, who was up there in the qualifying time inside the top 10. Seidhoff is running in 14th right now, right behind his teammate, Zach Prokop. Actually, 2 of his teammates, Craig Leake, right in front of him as well.
Oh, big crash up front as Walter Gebhardt was going for the lead on Devin Ryan. He swaps in the long sweeper and goes down. He's going to lose about 10, 11 spots, maybe. Ends up behind Bryce Whelan.
Man on the move right now might be Tyler Lewis on that other relaxed tire Suzuki. They're running 2 of the top 3 spots, and Lewis looks like he's on the move to the front. And he's bringing Colton Mitchell with him. Yeah,
Lewis going after our one to watch, Jake Rose right there. Rose taking some outside lines, trying to stay ahead of him. Opening lap coming down into the books here at Thunder Valley, and it looks like Devin Ryan is going to lead the field through here. And that brand new relaxed tire 2018 Suzuki created by Josh Mertens looks super sexy at the front of the field.
For sure. Must have some power in those things, because they're about to go 1 and 2 here as Lewis peeks inside on Jake Rose.
Doesn't take the line, but look at Mitchell right behind him. He got the line, and he's going to try around the outside of Lewis up the hill. Thinks better of it and funnels in, though.
Mitchell must have done some crazy gearing on his 250 as he was actually all the way down in first gear going through that first turn.
Look at that drive up the hill.
Up the hill.
Scrubs it down. Lewis tries to chop the line off, and he's going to just keep the spot for now as they go up to the very top of the hill. Wow, great defense from Tyler Lewis there. Not getting too aggressive, not cross-jumping or anything, but Mitchell was smart enough not to throw it in there early here. He's just trying to bide his time, it looks like.
Mitchell works that inside before the uphill. Lewis makes a mistake, cross-jumping, and clips his front wheel just by a knobby, and that's going to allow Jeremy Smith to go by both of them. And Mitchell, who had a good start, is now on the ground, going to have to get back going. Looks like things are pretty spread out, so he's going to drop back to about the 8th, maybe 9th spot as this Jax is aggressive up the inside on him as he gets going. And he's going to be running Mitchell now in 9th. Back at the front of the field, Devin Ryan continuing to lead Jake Rose. We got Lewis and Smith down in the turn. Walter Gebhardt's going to go into the 3 spot.
So Gebhardt already having a nice recovery there, and looking back and seeing Colton Mitchell is only a couple spots ahead of Seidhoff, and Jake Rose goes down right in the same spot. that Walter Gebhardt went down the lap before. So Rose is going to get up behind Gebhardt. There goes Lewis by, and the 428 of Silic. Yeah, and Whelan's trying to make a pass. Look at, wow, Whelan jumped around both of them.
That was a gutsy move from Bryce Whelan. Stanley Steamer is on a steamer right now. Goes up into the 4 spot. And then slides out and goes down, allowing a whole bunch of guys to go by, including Jared Seidhoff and Colton Mitchell, who are hooked up in the 9 and 10 spots.
That's what happens when you push the envelope here. One mistake costs you so much time in these races. We're watching this Mitchell versus Seidhoff battle. Oh, and they split.
Looks like Smith down.
Yeah, Smith was down, and Mitchell just clipped another rider that was down, and he gets into Smith. That was Jack Zars.
And then Zars gets into Mitchell, and they both go down. Wheeling goes around him back into 9th. Smith's back going in 8th. Jake Rose is going in 7th.
Wow.
Seidhoff goes by all those guys. Once again, eliminating his mistakes, and he's all the way up to 6th already and working on Phil Bull to take over a top 5 spot early in the Moto.
Not more than a lap ago, talking about Colton Mitchell looking a little bit more relaxed, not willing to take the chances at the front of the field, and he is buried in the field now after running into some bad luck with other riders. So a rough start for the number 10 machine. Not what he was looking for as your fastest qualifier here tonight. Devin Ryan scooting away at the front and looking comfortable doing it.
Walter Gebhardt, definitely a good recovery into the 2 spot. First we've seen of Tyler Lewis at the front of the field. And I believe first we've seen it Thomas Silic this season at the front of the field. And they're one of those Architect guys on the 428.
So we got Brian from Gebhardt, Lewis, Silic having a fantastic ride up in the 4 spot right now. Now Seidhoff moves into the 5 spot. He's got Phil Bull chase him down. Then a crazy battle. 4 riders all locked together here. That is Rose, Whelan, Smith, and
Sean Klein.
Yeah, the rookie.
Yeah, they're going inside out everywhere. Battling hard. It looks like Whelan's just doing everything he can to get around Rose, and Smith is just trying to find an open piece of track over that triple that I talked about. These guys have to work it to get over that thing. Craig Leake now charging up to try to join that battle as well.
Wow, and I feel like this is the first time we've even mentioned Craig Leake in this outdoor campaign. I'm not sure if he did not race the opening 2 rounds or what, but 3rd in the 250 championship last year. And now
I feel like
finally,
he actually didn't qualify out of Vacancy as Jake Rose has gone down, and that whole pack's going to go by him. And more guys, including Harry White.
But yeah, Leake up in here inside of the top 10 makes a pass on his teammate Sean Klein to move into the 8th spot just now. I expected to see some good things out of Leake outdoors this year, but yeah, so far he's just been kind of non-existent.
Now, battle for 4th is on as Jared Seidhoff is caught up to Thomas Silic. Seidhoff lays down a steaming 209.1. Going up the start straight and into that very slippery first turn. Got to really flat track it around.
Oh, it's a great shot of those guys both laying it over. Now Seidhoff has got a great drive, yeah. Silic recovered well, though, and he's going to maybe hold it. Seidhoff's got the line here, and he's going to get it. So Seidhoff into the 4 spot.
Impressed with 6th place rider Phil Bull. Great ride going for the Volcom guy.
Yep, those Volcom guys, they're just getting better and better every week, it seems like. Learning from the wonders of Tyson Fresquez and probably in some aspect Hunter Root as well, who we do not see racing tonight.
Who is that?
Who?
Hunter who? Yeah, anyways. Sean Klein is putting the pressure on his teammate Craig Leake right now for the 8 and 9 spot, and I believe they're actually running down Bryce Whelan on the 67 who runs in 7th. And as I say, that Klein makes a mistake. And then right behind them, holy pack of guys, another Volcom guy. This one's James Schuler, Harry White, Colton Mitchell, and Brock Pearson. With Jake Rose rounding out the top 15, there's a group of 5 of them dicing hard.
Yeah, Mitchell's trying to make up as much time as he can. He's going to get another spot right there. Yeah, trying to work on Pearson, who looked really solid last week.
Yeah, it looks solid, and now I have his skin, so he's looking even more solid for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty lit. Jake Rose putting the pressure on Mitchell. I think he's actually trying to find a way around him.
Yeah, almost had a pass lined up right there. Mitchell had to jump deep into the corner to hold it off.
Right off the side of the track there, I believe was a lap down.
These guys are just trying to work on each other, not lose a spot, not gain, or trying to gain a spot while not losing a spot, essentially.
Everything's staying the same at the front as we're watching some battles back in the field. The battle for 5th is on right now. Phil Bowl putting the pressure on Thomas Sillick, so Sillick has another spot in jeopardy as he's still in the top 5. We're approaching the 10-minute mark of this moto, but Phil Bowl is trying to move forward and close the gap on him that last lap around by about a second and almost 2 seconds. Bowl's got the line and the pass.
Yeah, I think Sillick might have let him go there, but Sillick is, a 3-digit rider, obviously not super prone to being in this position. He's awfully fast, though, so I'm sure he just wants to kind of get the experience of running up front and learn and not get into too crazy of a battle.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit in the Moto Option Key to the Race, was to get through those early laps clean. It's amazing what a good start will do for you. As the field's now spread out, he's still running in 6th, and he's running pretty solid lap times. He's running fast lap of a 2:11. That's not a bad lap around this track. And
Right.
It looks like we have a rider down, one of the relax attire guys, and that is Tyler Lewis. He's dropped off of the 3rd spot back to 5th now as he does stay in front of Sillick.
Yeah, just barely, too. And Sillick had a nice wheelie going, trying to keep him behind. But still, this is a very solid ride for Lewis. He's going to try to hold on to the spot as Sillick goes down.
And here comes Jeremy Smith and Sean Klein to take advantage.
Whoa, and then Sillick almost loops his Larry going into the big uphill triple.
And now he's got to settle himself back down and not lose too much time. Recovering from that crash, get back into running those consistent laps. Still an 8th place ride going on. It's good.
So let's take a peek back up to the front as Devin Ryan, a little past 10 minutes into this moto, comes down, clicks on to lap number 6.
Dropped his fastest lap in right there, 2:09.7. So Devin Ryan finding the speed while out front, not just cruising, running faster laps right now.
He's trying to get away from Gebhardt, who is starting to have a little bit of pressure from behind of your defending champion, Jared Seidhoff.
The reason being, Seidhoff just logged his fast lap with a clear track at 2:07.6. The hammer's being laid down right now on the #1 Prime Design Graphics defending champion and series points leader, and he has Salty Walty lined up in the crosshairs right now.
Man, this is Seidhoff's MO this year, I think. He is just, oh my gosh, way too solid for these guys to handle. Gets decent starts. Even when he doesn't get a decent start, he just waits for all the chaos to go kind of away. Rides through the pack very smartly. Now he's already in a position where he's going to go after second and possibly for the lead before long.
What's it remind you of? A little bit of his teammate?
Yeah, Jesse Mullins, absolutely. I'm sure those guys, bounce setups off of each other. And lines, of course. They talk about lines. Now that these nationals, it's not limited qualifying like it was in Supercross. These guys have a couple days to get the track down. So these guys obviously spend their time, do their homework, and get these lines dialed in before the race so they know what the fast lines are. And we talked about it last week in the 450 class. Mullins is very good at using multiple lines, trying to find better lines or just different lines so that he isn't always following. And I'm sure Seidhoff is going to start picking up on that soon, knowing how well it's worked for Mullins.
Absolutely, and then the early laps of the races is when that's so important. If you follow everyone in the main line, chances are there's going to be someone crashed in the early laps.
Absolutely.
If you get out of that main line, there's much better chance of avoiding those big fall-offs. And if you can do it with speed, you can actually move by about 5 guys while they're all bunched up, and you're running on the whole other side of the track.
That's a very good point, and touches on your keys to the race, too, about getting through those opening laps, which all these guys at the front have done somewhat decently. I mean, I think Gebhardt's the only one that's had a fall off, and he's still up here.
Yeah, easier said than done, though, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
The battle is raging right now for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Phil Bull has some serious pressure from a couple heavy hitters, Jeremy Smith and Sean Klein, the rookie.
So it's been a great
Holding
ride
tough,
for
though.
Bull. Yeah, it's been a great ride so far, but is he going to be able to hold off against these guys? Smith, the former champion of the series, knows what he's doing on this 250F. He's going after the number 82 rider out of Australia.
Bull is actually running down Tyler Lewis at the moment too, so instead of looking behind him with all the pressure from Smith, he looks to be racing forward, nails that double down the hill. Oh, Smith's looking up the inside.
Oh, he's dangerous there. Let's see if he hooks the run. Oh, he just comes across and takes the line away, so he gets the spot anyway. Oh, you see Phil Bull scrub down that double with the background, trying to hold him on.
Gonna get that inside run, but not quite enough. Tyler Lewis is about to have a whole lot of heat from Jeremy Smith and the boys. Smith's gonna look inside here in the big sweeper.
Look at Sean Klein all the way around the outside, too, trying to stick a nose into this battle. Oh, Smith, a little mistake.
Yeah, he's working that inside there, trying different lines. He's got to run up the triple. Lewis didn't jump it. Now Smith down the inside.
And we have 4 riders in the air at the same time on that triple, and Smith has got a line working on Lewis, but he's going to shut the door on the 46 machine. Look at Smith cut underneath, though. Almost side by side there.
Working a lot of different lines around the track. Pretty cool to see. Makes me happy.
Yeah, the racing is fantastic as Smith finally has a line down the inside, and he's going to take that spot. Let's see if Lewis cuts back underneath. Tried to, but I think Smith is going to hold him off into the corner, and he does.
So after about 6 or 7 corners in a row of Smith running completely different lines, he finally gets the pass made. He pulled up alongside about 4 times and made it work. Finally, Tyler Lewis doesn't buckle under pressure, but now he's got pressure from Phil Bull up the inside, and Bull's going to go around as well, it looks like.
That was an amazing pass by Bull. He went around the outside and then came back across down the inside and wheelied out of the corner. Made up a lot of ground and got that pass done, but Lewis is looking back inside. He's going to try it, almost looped out, and he might lose a spot to Klein. Klein has to take evasive maneuvers to go to the outside and not get in touch there with Tyler Lewis.
Sorry to cut you off. We have a mix-up at the front of the field. Gebhardt is now out front by 10 seconds.
Wow.
Ryan falls to the 2 spot. Sidehoff still sits third.
So Devin Ryan had to fall off somewhere.
2 for Ryan and a 2:18 for Sidehoff. Tells me that they maybe got tangled together or both just went down separately. The guy capitalizing on all of it, Salty Walty Gebhardt, continuing in his great outdoor season that he's had.
So Ryan looked comfortable, looked calm and collected at the front, but obviously now has to charge back to the front if he wants to win this moto, but he's going to have pressure from Sidehoff before long, especially if Sidehoff can keep ripping off those 207s, maybe dip into the 206s.
Gebhardt dropped down to a low 208 at some point here. But he's got some speed working with him as he's out front, probably getting way more comfortable running in these podium spots. Although he looks like he's really pushing the issue at the front of the field right now. I see him doing a little bit of sliding out, missing his lines just a little bit, not quite nailing them to perfection. I'm still just so impressed by Gebhardt. This is a completely different Walter Gebhardt than what we saw in Supercross this year. Maybe he started his outdoor prep quite a bit early and just never got used to the Supercross grind. Yeah, and it very well could be he got way better and just is a better outdoor rider than a Supercross rider as well. That's very possible.
Right.
All I know is he has been really good during this outdoor season, putting another lap in the books, and we just blew well past the halfway point. And you know what that means. We didn't get into one of our top 10 rundowns. This one brought to you by the fine folks at BAMMX. BAMMX.com. Get all your graphics needs taken care of there, as well as banners, tents, all that kind of cool stuff. Well, Salty Walty Gebhardt, still a privateer, but he's leading the moto. This isn't the first time he's led this year, but can he hold it till the checkers this time? We're 17, almost 18 minutes in, and he's running out front, 9.8 seconds up front. The battle for 2 spot is on hard. As Sidehoff using that inside up the hill with way more drive again makes the pass on Devin Ryan. So the defending champion and points leader, Jared Sidehoff, Prime Design Graphics #1, goes into the number 2 spot. He's got some time to make up, but he's laying down the lap times a 2:08 flat last time around. Devin Ryan, your early leaders, falling into the 3rd spot. Still a great ride going for the number 32 Relax Attire of Devin Ryan. The number 4 of Jeremy Smith runs in 4th. He ran his fastest lap last time around with a 2:08, riding for TBR. Back in 5th, we find Phil Bull putting in an impressive ride on the Team Volcom number 82. But he's got some heavy pressure from the rookie around the outside, Sean Klein. Down the downhill they go. They're going to split lines into the Tomac sweeper. And looks like Bull just got absolutely railed around by Sean Klein. That wasn't even a contest. And now he's got some heavy pressure from Tyler Lewis, who runs in the 7th spot. Another one of those Relax Attire Suzukis. Lewis has a run on Bull. We're going to wrap this top 10 rundown out real quick. Colton Mitchell, Prime Design Graphics, on the number 10, runs in the 8th spot. Brock Pearson, MV Films, runs in the 9th spot. And rounding off the top 10, Thomas Sillick, still putting in a great ride on the 428 Architect machine. And looks like Lewis actually went down in that battle that we were about to watch with Phil Bull and himself. And looks like Devin Ryan was actually around side off for a moment. Nope, that was Jeremy Smith. Yeah, Jeremy Smith was all the way up to 2nd. But he's down on the ground right now, and he's going to lose a few spots, drop him all the way to the 6th spot. So a whole kind of shakeup out the front. 11 seconds out front is Gebhardt. Side off slots into the 2 spot. Devin Ryan 3rd. Somehow Smith had worked his way all the way around those guys before going down.
All right, so we have just now eclipsed the 20-minute mark here. So 10 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Gebhardt's looking pretty comfortable out front. I have a tough time believing that Seidhoff is going to get to him without a crash. You never know with old Jared Seidhoff and his kind of sneaky speed that he has.
Yeah, it's also one of those things. Seidhoff's just so comfortable and confident, whereas I feel like Gebhardt has to get nervous at some point here. You know, we have 10 minutes to go plus 2 laps. That's a lot of time and only a 10-second gap. Not saying Walter can't pull it off. He definitely has the ability to. It's going to be more of a mental battle, I feel like. And then also, of course, lapped riders will eventually be coming into play, as he's got a little bit of a gap. It's about 3 guys, but then there's a huge group in front of those guys if he gets up there, which he will within this 10-minute mark, and then it might be a little more chaos.
So Devin Ryan here, he's about to be under attack from Sean Klein, who's starting to put together some better rides. We saw it at the beginning of the year going 10-10, and then had a great week last week at Glen Helen. Improvements all the time. Now he's looking at another podium, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Battle for 5th is on now. Phil Bull and Jeremy Smith.
Smith's got an inside line. He does some hopping.
Bull's going to run it in. There's no room for one person there, and Smith is that guy. Bull backs off wisely to not put them both on the ground, and now he's going to have to deal with some pressure from behind from Colton Mitchell, who has a 2:07.2, so he's got the speed going again, but he's got too many mistakes. The story on the number 10 machine, that's for sure. Take a peek back, see if I can find our versuspc.com one to watch. We find him all the way back in the 18th spot, so not a good performance going on for Jake Rose after a good start. Looked like it was going to be great the way his outdoors have been going, but the one to watch is probably wishing we weren't watching him right now.
Oh, especially with that. Might just be a case of a track he does not gel with here this week, which happens with everybody in this series. There's going to be some tracks that your points leader Jared Seidhoff just will not get along with.
I think Seidhoff's gelling with this one, though. He took 2.2 seconds out of that lead last lap around alone. So Gebhardt's got to be watching that interval and seeing it shrinking and saying, uh-oh.
Well, obviously, someone in chat in his headset has probably told him who's behind him. So I don't know if that's going
not to tell him.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll add the pressure or if he just knows and understands the gap and might be trying to work it down or what. But obviously, the pressure of that number 1 plate bearing down on you is not the easiest thing to deal with when you're trying to lead a pro national here.
They started this lap at 8.8 seconds and it dropped to 7.9. So Seidhoff is prowling again this lap, just chipping away, and that just boosts his confidence that he has it. But Walter's got to eliminate the mistakes, try to keep the pace going, but don't over push it, because the big mistake and the gap goes away completely. at least if he can stay consistent, it leaves the pressure on Seidhoff to push the pace without making a mistake.
Right. Got to change for third place. After all that happened, Klein is now in the spot. Ryan has lost the spot, but not too much time just yet. He's trying to hold on.
Nice ride going for the rookie on the ever good number 74, Sean Klein. This is a little more of what I expected out of Klein outdoors this year, and as I say that, he goes down, and Devin Ryan says, I'll go right back to the podium.
Commentator's curse. To work.
Klein has a 207.5, so he's got some heaters going too. But holy crap, Seidhoff dropped into the 206s, 206.7. Gebhardt almost matched his fast lap last time around with a 208.4. Seidhoff still one-ups him, and the gap's under 7.5 seconds and continuing to shrink. So we're 24.5 minutes into the Moto.
I think I'm going to go on board to Seidhoff here for just a moment as we watch him maybe put down another heater, see what it's like to be on board with the fastest man on the track as time is expiring or running down here in Moto 1 at Thunder Valley.
Yeah, I was actually taking a look back at lap times on some of the guys. Craig Leak also has a 206, 206.7, but he's all the way back in the 9 ride. And that 206 flat from Stanley Steamer, Bryce Wheelan, and he's outside the top 10 and 12.
Just goes to show that speed is not everything, but sometimes it means a lot, especially when you're going for the win and you have the speed to catch with the guy that has the position you want.
When you're in those 1 and 2 spots late in the Moto and you can lay those heaters down, it just puts the pressure on. Pressure. There's a couple lappers here that Seidhoff has to negotiate while trying to keep the pace up. He can't afford to lose any time. One of them going to jump off the track and let him go by. The other one's going to hold up on the outside. Nice job, boys.
Seidhoff actually lost a little bit of time getting around those lappers. So we'll see what this lap time is, but man, he's looking fast.
The gap's at 6.3 though, so regardless on this lap, as a whole, he's making up time, and Walter's watching it just continue to tick down. He's probably watching the timer on his screen as well, saying, tick faster, give me that 2-lap board now.
As it stands right now, just trying to do some math in my head, it looks like he might make it to the 30-minute mark before Seidhoff gets there if these lap times stay constant, but I don't think they will. I mean, Seidhoff 207.9 that time by Gebhardt, another 208, 208.9.
So, 1 second off the lead, right. Exactly.
Seidhoff's not even going to get to him by the end of the Moto at this point, but he needs to try to pick up the pace again.
Sean Klein has moved back around Devin Ryan for third. Phil Bull still runs in the top 5, but he does have a little bit of pressure from Jeremy Smith. Colton Mitchell, Brian Peterson, Craig Leak, and Tyler Lewis are your top 10 as they run right now. I think most eyes are probably on the front of the field to see, can Walter Gebhardt withstand the pressure and keep the pace going? Got a couple lappers to deal with, actually a handful of them, about 4 or 5 right up on top of the hill.
Yeah, taking a break from that battle for just a quick second to watch Jeremy Smith go after Phil Bull as Bull is on the deck. Smith goes around, Mitchell goes around, Pearson goes around, Leak goes around. That's how quickly you lose positions. We'll keep an eye on this battle. Up front now, we have just over 2.5 minutes to go. Plus 2 laps. Oh, Walter with a slide out, but able to keep it on 2 wheels. Man, he's pushing the pace. He looks like he's starting to make some mistakes, though. Ooh, has to avoid a downed rider there. Lappers everywhere, as you mentioned, Chris. This is really going to start playing into the hands of Jared Seidhoff, who will hit all of these lappers second, and by that point, they already know they are in a battle for the lead when Seidhoff gets there, so they're going to be a lot more inclined to move right out of the way. Whereas Gebhardt being the first person to catch them, to lap them, they might not really know what's going on. They don't know if Gebhardt has a big lead. They're just trying to focus on their own race and let Gebhardt go when they can. But it's one thing to take out the leader who has a minute lead. It's another thing to take out the leaders who are in a battle for the lead. So let's see how that affected him. 2:11.2 last time by, but the lead is up big time. Seidhoff must have went down. We missed it somewhere. And now he's under attack from Sean Klein on the 74. Look at Klein. He's going after him here. They look like they're on the same team, but they are not. Seidhoff on the Prime Designs graphics machine. And Sean Klein riding for Evergood. They're going to continue their battle up to the top of the hill. Klein has got the bit between his teeth here. He is going after your defending champion. So that's really curious. Not too sure what happened to Seidhoff there. Must have went down right before the finish line because the gap was not too far apart when we clicked on to Gebhardt out front to see what was going on. It's like Klein is losing just a little bit of touch with Seidhoff now, but not too much. He's keeping him honest. This is the battle for second. These guys have both gapped Devin Ryan. Now Colton Mitchell's going after Ryan, trying to move into the 4 spot, and he's bringing Craig Leake with him. And if they can both get around Devin Ryan, it's going to be 5 Hondas in the top 5. Look at Leake. Oh, my gosh. He is railing around the outside of Colton Mitchell. He's trying to show him a nose. Thinks better of it, though.
Sorry to interrupt you, but the battle is on for second right now. Sean Klein is all over Jared Seidhoff.
Yeah. Somewhere a lap ago, we saw Seidhoff, and we didn't see it, but he went down in the back right before the finish line. And look at Klein. Man, he is showing a nose there. He's got an inside move. Ooh, lost a little traction in the rear, or else he might have had a run on him.
Not sure if these lappers are distracting Seidhoff in front of him. He has been behind them for quite some time, and there's 2 of them, so it makes it twice as hard to get around as they occupy 2 parts of the racetrack here. For instance, they're taking 2 different lines. Seidhoff's going to get around one of them. Klein going to go around as well. Other rider there,
That's the 87 Ivan Medina, perhaps?
I believe that you are correct with that. Klein is laying it all on the line. Both those guys ran 2:07s last time around. The 31-minute mark of the Moto.
Man, it is so awesome to see those guys hook those ruts on that little anthill single. They just lay it over, getting as much power back to the ground as quickly as they can. Look at Klein throw it down to the bottom of the hill here. He is all over the back of your defending champion. Ooh, what a battle for second here at Thunder Valley.
Inside. He's got it, I think.
Oh, he's going to show him a wheel. Almost contact.
That kicker came back to him. I haven't seen anyone make that outside work as good as the middle rut all week. But Seidhoff just carried some wicked speed through it.
Seidhoff wants nothing of the rookie. Says, I don't know who you think you are, but I'm the defending champion here. I'm going to try to hold this spot from you.
Yeah, Sean Klein came to play. Is hooked up to Seidhoff's back wheel like a baby breastfeeding on their mama.
And I like the lines that he's taken. Seidhoff's taken some risky lines through some really rough stuff, trying to hold on, trying to defend. And Klein honestly looks a little bit smoother, a little bit faster even.
Wow, there's a freight train behind them. Devin Ryan's lost some spots as well. I don't know, you don't want to take your eyes off that battle because it's so good. Mitchell's moved to 4th, Leake to 5th.
Klein down the inside, gets the pass for second. I'm sorry to cut you off there, Chris, but a great move. Gets him before the mechanics area.
White flag flies. Can Seidhoff strike back?
We have completely lost attention to your race leader, Gebhardt, but he is getting away at the front smoothly, so we're going to keep our eyes on this battle for second.
Sean Klein 2:06.7 matches the fast lap of Seidhoff to pass him.
And he's getting away.
All those guys that said he was a pick for the championship, this is why. Clearly, they had seen this coming.
Yeah, somewhere
weeks later.
Somewhere at the Stopwatch Nationals, they were keeping track of Mr. Klein and the times he was running, but good on them. because he's hauling the mail. Seidhoff is trying to keep it close on this last lap, but Klein has honestly gotten away from him since the pass was made.
Seidhoff can lay it on the line a little bit, but he's only got 9 seconds back to Klein's teammate who runs in fourth, Craig Leake, who actually just made a mistake. So that's going to help Seidhoff a little bit to hang it out even more, not really have much to lose.
Oh man, I do not want to look away from this battle if Klein makes a mistake, but you've got to give props.
Behind him, so.
You've got to give props to your, presumed race winner here, Gebhardt, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. But man, he rode a solid race, even with the pressure from behind. At different points of the moto, had an early crash, came back. Now leads
what a
this
confidence
thing.
builder that this is going to be for Gebhardt. To not just run up there, but actually cross the line in that #1 ride.
And how about it? Through the mechanics area, and the 73 machine of Walter Gebhardt will win 250 Moto 1 here at Thunder Valley. And look at this, Klein, the 74 machine, the rookie, holds off the defending champion Seidhoff. 0.7 at the line. Cuts could factor in, but we'll see. And the first we've seen of Craig Leake all year comes out with a good one. Gets a 4th in this moto. Devin Ryan.
204.8 fast lap for Craig Leake.
Oh my gosh. Devin Ryan comes across in 5th after leading early on, grabbing the whole shot. Mitchell, your fastest qualifier, ends up 6th. That's a good recovery.
Battle of the line. Jeremy Smith, is he going to get across? Oh, he almost misses the finish. Comes across in 7th. Brock Pearson 8th as he battled to the line with a lapper. Phil Bull kind of got a nice gap behind him. He's running in that 9 spot. Team Volcom looking for a top 10 performance here out of Phil Bull.
And they're going to get it. 9th place for Bull. Lewis is going to round out your top 10. So 2 Relaxa tire machines inside of the top 10. That is the first time we've seen them all year, I think, too.
Nice moto again for Sally Slomo. Chase Donovan, another one inside the top 15, picking an 11th. Thomas Sillick stays up in the top 12. Here comes Harry White on the number 210. Gonna take home the 13 spot. D Mills, Daniel Mills, riding for the Taggart Signs Aaron team, comes across in 14th. Alex Carlo will round out your top 15 on the Evergood machine. Jordan Moxie, Architect 16th. Jack Zarse, another versus PC Fam X rider in the 17th. Is that the first motos Zarse has made? No, he did qualify at Glen Helen out of the Consi. Josh Williams in 18th. Wheeling crashed at the line and falls back to 19th, losing a spot to Williams. And then here comes William St. Laurent Madcape, finishing in 20th. Getting the last point, Dakota French, the first man not to score a point. Logan McSweeney, Josh Betts, Edward Mora, Aaron Burdell, and the rest are through.
Cuts are in, and not seeing anybody affected. All right, so
no one in the points.
Yeah, Walter Gebhardt wins your first moto here from Thunder Valley. Please stick with us. Don't touch that URL bar. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back on the other side of this one with some more action from Thunder Valley. Round 3 of the Ride365.com Nationals, powered by Versus PC. We'll see you guys in just a bit. RaceFactoryGaming.com would like to thank the following sponsors for their continued support. All right, we are back. Ride365.com Nationals powered by Versus PC. And it's a 125 intermission race. I'm on the gate. I'm riding around right now. Chris is riding around. We're just having a little bit of fun for an intermission while these guys get themselves lined up for Moto 2. So I'm going to try to rip up this 125 for you guys and do the best that I can.
The Tomac sweeper, you can hold 5th wide open around the outside, and it is sick.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to trying that. 125s on this track are brutal in the altitude, man. So much power loss. I'm just 5th gear wide open down some of these hills.
I'm waiting for you in the...
I don't know if I'll get to you before they start the second moto, though. I'm not even clearing these uphill triples. Alright, Tomac sweeper time.
You might have to slow a little, but once you're into it, you can just hold her wicked in 5th.
Nice. Is this you right here?
Yep, I'm coming.
Alright.
I don't know if I'll be able to keep up, and I know I can't make this triple on a CR125.
Oh,
no
come
way.
on, give it a try. Oh, no, not even close.
I doubled it like perfect wide open.
Oh, did you crash behind me? Come on, Chris, what are we doing here?
Oh, I gotta do some RF admin duties.
Oh. Alright, well, I'm going to keep ripping up a 125 here. Man, this is fun. I wish I could ride a 125 in the Pro Nationals. I'll say that and then I'll try it and I'll be like, no. What was I thinking? This is terrible. Woo! Who's this? 303 William Syme, what are you doing, man? Taking the lead from you. Oh, no Zendo. Yep, we're done. Oh.
Looks like we're going racing. There's no
All
lineup
right.
check for Moto 2s.
No lineup check. It's go time.
And we're going racing. Moto 2. Can Walter Gebhardt go 1-1? That's going to be the question as we look at the versuspc.com one to watch. Let's keep an eye. Oh no, let's see.
I've got my tea, but it's very hot.
I want to keep an eye on, well, he'll be at the front. Let's not go with him.
Oh, we're taking quite a long time to load in here. What's going on?
Man, me too.
Josh
I mean,
Williams.
I'm sitting on the gate, but
Josh Williams having a tough go.
he would actually be a good one for the one to watch. But I am going to pick who doesn't get a lot of stream time. Let's talk about Thomas Silic. He got 12th in that Moto #1. Had a great start and a good performance early in the Moto.
Is that your
We'll
versus
take a look
PC
at
one to
him.
watch?
Versus PC, one to watch. The 428 of Thomas Silic.
All right, here we go. Board is sideways. Moto 2 on the gate. Let's go racing at Thunder Valley.
Looks like a great jump out of the inside for Bryce Whelan. And Devin Ryan around the outside getting off to another good start as well. Down the hill we go. Looked like Salty Walty was there. Bryce Whelan's going to grab that. Ride365.com whole shot.
Heck
Off
yeah.
with the lead. Walter Gebhardt right there in tow.
All right,
Ryan.
Whelan with a good start.
Great.
Let's see what he can do.
Great start this time for Sidehoff.
Oh, Whelan's down. He takes
the top three are all
Gebhardt.
down.
Devin Ryan's down. And oh my gosh, Gebhardt's in a terrible spot to be down, but he gets up no problem somehow. So that's going to give the
Capitalizing
lead.
on everyone else's mistakes. Jared Sidehoff again. This time he's got Alex Carlo and Jack Zars. One of those rookies. And Zars is done for on the face of the triple. He actually got bumped over the top of it, which is probably a huge help for him. Somehow Whelan, while he just cleans out the 443, I don't know who that was. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to find out who you are. Of Jacob Hunger. But he's all the way, but he was up to 5th again after crashing.
All right, our only hope of making this moto a lot more interesting than it looks like it's about to be is the 66 of Alex Carlo going after Sidehoff for the lead on the opening lap.
Carlo was digging the track this week. When I talked to him a little bit last night when he was running some qualifying laps, and he looks like he's ready to hang right with Sidehoff. You have to let it all hang out and run faster than he's ever run before to prevent Sidehoff from breaking away.
I can't believe it with Whelan and Gebhardt getting those great starts, and then they both go down. It's insane. And then Sidehoff into the lead. He's going to lead this opening lap.
This might be Sidehoff's best start of the year. He started in fourth going up that first hill into the lead before lap 1. That's bad news for everyone else.
And he leads the opening lap here. Moto 2 at Thunder Valley in the 250 class. Oh, man, he is just going to get away here in a hurry if nobody starts coming up to challenge.
I tell you what, Colton Mitchell actually got a decent start. He's in 5th right now. So maybe not even a great start, but got through that first lap, and he's been struggling to do that. If he gets going now, I mean, he's got a couple straightaways to make up already on your leader. But he might have a prayer with the speed he showed during qualifying. He's got Gebhardt coming right with him.
Yeah, Moto 1 winner is right there. So, and Gebhardt was really confident and fast in that first moto and did not lapse at the pressure that Sidehoff was giving him on the pit board. Times are coming down.
Tyler Lewis just actually moved around Gebhardt. Gebhardt's going to strike back. They have a good little battle going on.
Gebhardt thought better of jumping into that rut. Possibility of going down.
Whelan and Craig Leak side by side going down the big downhill into the turn. Oh, Whelan just shredded that inside to take over the spot from Leak.
Man, already so much action. Just the second lap, halfway through the second lap. So much to talk about in this moto. But here comes Leak trying to close up onto the back of Tyler Lewis. And around the outside into him, and they're both down. And that was Jeremy Smith going through, I think. How about Reno Brennan with a good start? Gets up right behind or with those guys. 3 wide off the big uphill triple. And Lewis almost jumps into Craig Leak again. Whoa, Alfrey down in the sweeper. Chaos. It's the only way to describe these opening laps here at an RF National.
For sure. The battle for 4th is now on, as Mitchell, Gebhardt, and Bryce Whelan have all caught up to James Schuler. Mitchell around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. He goes.
Yeah, and they're not too far behind Devin Ryan right there in front of these guys.
The big thing is once they get around Brian, there's a 10-second gap up to Carlo and 4 seconds up to Sidehoff, who's already laid a 2:06.4 lap time down. He shot out of this race like a cannon. Then Carlo with a mistake, going to give up even more time up the uphill.
Man, oh man! But I mean, did you really think that Sidehoff starting up front meant anything but him just getting away early? I mean,
I have wishful thinking here.
As solid as he's been this year through 5 motos, a good start was the last thing anybody in this field wanted to see out of Sidehoff, except Jared Sidehoff.
Without a doubt. Mitchell working the inside on Devin Ryan. Got to run, but he's going to be on the outside of the corner. Can he close the door? They're going to come together.
Oh, contact. Wow. Oh, Devin Ryan, little late tip over there.
Front end lock. Wonderful. Doesn't exist. Gebhardt's going to capitalize on that as well. Great run going for Schuler early in this one. Jeremy Smith, Whelan has fallen down and dropped back to the 8th spot. He was right in that group. I was expecting him to be right behind Schuler. He's had another fall off, so the mistakes are adding up for Whelan. He's got the speed. The Stanley Steamers are on point, but the rest of his ride, not so much.
All right, so resetting things just a little bit. Coming to 6 minutes into this moto. Sidehoff cruising away at the front, just getting away from Carlo in big chunks every lap. Now Cole Mitchell.
Better give him a
Up to
little bit of
third.
stream time now here, Mr. Sideoff, because we probably won't see
I
him much
know.
more than the rest of the field at this point. The way he's wheeling away, I'm waiting to see what his lap time is going to be this time around with a 2:06.4 last time, a 2:07.5 this time.
Wow. He's just running basically qualifying laps back to back again, like he was in the first moto when he was trying to catch Gebhardt for the lead. And I saw mentioned in chat earlier from the one and only Rush Chapman that we may not see Colton Mitchell for the entire series as well. So that might be an unfortunate turn of events. We'll see how that plays out. But this could be a snoozer real quick if Seidhoff starts winning races at the beginning and nobody can come up and challenge him.
I actually think I was talking to Colton last night, and he thought he was going to miss a race next week, but he's not going to miss it because it's an off week, and I think that was the round he was going to miss, I believe.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
All right.
So
well,
that would be nice. That'd be a nice development to at least keep this thing a little more interesting. But I mean, if Seidhoff keeps doing what he's doing, if he's winning motos after motos, it doesn't matter how many rounds you're at. You have to beat him. You can't just be there.
Exactly. And it's not like Mitchell doesn't have the speed. We talked about it before. He just can't seem to buy the starts that get him in the position to beat Seidhoff. He had one in the first moto. Looked like he was taking it easy and, got into a little inopportune situation. And then it all just went south from there. But when Seidhoff gets starts like this, there's just nothing you can do about it. So we'll see if anything happens this moto, but it looks like Seidhoff is running away at the front, and boy is he loving every minute of it. Colton Mitchell is starting to reel in Alex Carlo just a little bit for that 2 ride, and he's got plenty of time to get there, obviously. So a lot of moto left to give here. We're just kind of giving Seidhoff the win, but it's not done until the checkered flag waves, and we're still about 25 minutes away from that happening.
I'll be right back, just taking care of some admin duties.
No problem. We'll continue to watch Colton Mitchell. He's working on trying to run down that 2 ride, Alex Carlo. We'll see if he can get there. Gebhardt is behind him, but he's dropped him a little bit. Devin Ryan, another solid top 5, but he's about to come under attack from 2013 250 motocross champion Jeremy Smith. Smith is second in the points entering tonight, so he is Seidhoff's closest competition. However, we've made note that Smith will not make it to all the rounds this year as he is racing pro motocross in real life, and I am pretty sure we should expect to see him first racing at High Point. Yeah, so, and he's going to do all of the East Coast rounds, right? He'll miss Washougal, and he will... Yeah, that's it. He'll make every round except Washougal from High Point on, right?
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, it sounded like he was going to make the trip like Millville, Redbud, and such. So, yeah, quite a few rounds for Smith. As right now, he's focused on passing the number 32 with Devin Ryan. He uses that inside into the turn to shut the door. We saw him do that in Moto number 1. Works in Moto number 2 on Devin Ryan. So up into the number 5 spot goes the TBR ride of Jeremy Smith on the number 4.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know if that is his game plan going into that corner every lap, or if he's actually trying to get to that inside rut, but he just kind of blows it every time.
I would say the speed that he's carrying over the roller, that he's planning on going to the outside. As Alex Carlo makes a mistake, Colton Mitchell's going to go on by into the number 2 spot. He has a 2:05.7 lap time, so he's laying the heaters down. And he's only got 7.7 seconds now that he's moved into the 2 spot. And I almost feel like, I don't know if Carlo made a mistake, because he was going really slow on the edge of the track. And I know these guys talk a good bit. He might have let Mitchell go by and just said, go ahead, I don't even want to battle with you.
Yeah, I mean, we see that quite often sometimes with these guys that don't always run at the front of the field. No slouch on Carlo, he's definitely a good rider, but sometimes when you are a 10th place guy and you get a 2nd place start, you're going to do whatever you can to milk that one home and take a 3rd or a 4th if that's all you can get when these fast guys are marching through the field.
Absolutely. Seidhoff must have had a mistake last time around at 2:13 lap time to the 2:07 from Mitchell. So Colton trying to make this thing interesting for us.
Yeah, I was on board with Mitchell there just after the finish line, made a small mistake and cross-rutted Went off the track for just a second, but was able to hang on to the 2 spot. So he lost a little bit more time to your race leader. But, I mean, we still got at least 20 minutes in this moto still to go. And 8 seconds isn't a huge lead with 20 minutes still on the clock. That is for sure. Not in sim, at least.
Absolutely. And remember at the end of last moto, Seidhoff lost that 2nd spot to Sean Klein. And the reason I bring that up is lurking in 4th right now, about to put the pressure on Alex Carlo, is Walter Gebhardt. If Walter can get around the net 2 guys in front of him, Carlo and Mitchell, who are within striking distance, he could win his first overall in the same night he wins his first moto. A lot of racing left to go, though. 20 minutes plus 2 laps. Make that 18 minutes plus 2 laps. Seidhoff continuing to lay down some laps and lead this thing. Mitchell trying to lay down steamers every lap to catch him. A couple of teammates, 1 and 2. Great run going for Alex Carlo. I'm going to check on our 1 to watch here and see if I can find out what position he is in. Not looking good as I'm going through the field looking for Mr. Thomas Sillick, and I find him all the way back in the 34th place, sitting on top of a hay bale like a bike stand, trying to get back going. So the curse of the 1 to watch continues. And Sillick's actually parked off the side of the track, letting guys go by. That's your leaders actually going on around. So nice job there being a heads-up lapper from Sillick.
Unfortunate for Sillick, though. He was great in that first moto. We were hoping to see more of the same out of him.
Carlo has dropped a spot to Gebhardt up to 3rd. Keeping his push going, looking at the lap times, 2:07.7 for Seidhoff, 2:07.4, and Mitchell slides out. Doesn't go off the bike. And a 2:07.4, fastest lap of the race so far for Walter Gebhardt. So
yeah,
he maybe is finding his groove after a great Moto 1 where he really came on the second half of that moto.
And as you mentioned, you know, if Gebhardt can get around Mitchell and get that 2nd spot, it doesn't matter what Seidhoff does, given that Klein was able to finish 2nd in that first moto. Gebhardt will win the overall. And we've seen Mitchell be really inconsistent is the right word to use with him. Not only his starts, but he's been crashing a lot this year. So it could happen for Gebhardt. You're absolutely right about that.
Quite a few different lines being used down that big downhill where we've seen Jeremy Smith making those beautiful passes. Some guys going to the very smooth outside. Obviously, we've seen Smith working the inside to the outside. Then I've seen a handful of guys using the middle. And then, of course, inside to inside is what we've seen Seidhoff doing quite a bit.
Keeping an eye on your front 3 for just a moment, but they have spread apart just a little bit, so we'll take a break from that.
Jeremy Smith is starting to close in on Alex Carlo now. So Carlo trying to be consistent after that good start's working for him, still up in the top 5 as we're actually approaching that halfway point. And I suppose let's knock out a top 10 rundown brought to you by Tiger Designs. TigerDesigns.net. Yeah, that's right, .net, not .com. They sell helmets as well as paint helmets, or you can just get the name painted on your back of your helmet, and they have a sick like graffiti style. It looks awesome. Go look at it on their website when you get a chance. Been a long time RF sponsor. Stoked to have them on board. They present this top 10 rundown, and Seidhoff continues to lead at the halfway point. Well, Mitchell trying to lay the hammer down. The Prime Design Graphics teammates running 1 and 2. In the 3-spot Moto number 1 winner, still a privateer, Walter Gebhardt on the 7-3. Jeremy Smith's moved into the 4 spot around Carlo on the TBR number 4. Alex Carlo, ever good, number 66, runs in 5th with some heavy pressure now from Devin Ryan. But Carlo's just gotta be thinking, man, I just let a guy by, and now I got another guy breathing down my neck. It's just non-stop up here at the front, and Carlo makes a mistake. Devin Ryan goes around into the 5 spot. Carlo drops to 6th. In 7th, we find the Versus PC FamiMX number 67 of Stanley Steamer Bryce Whelan. He has a 2:06.1 lap time, so he's got some speed, but he definitely needs to stay off the ground if he wants to get up in those podium spots. In 8th, a much better moto going for the Architect number 57 of Jordan Moxie. James Schuler, nice top 10 ride going on the Volcom. Ride? Find Jeremy Cullenauer, Team MV Films, rounding out the top 10. That's been your Tagger Designs top 10 rundown. As we peek back one more spot, we'll find Sally Slow-Mo, Chase Donovan, and Sean Klein, who's been climbing through the pack and had a 222. I saw he was up to 8th a lap ago. Now he's back in 12th, so definitely had a fall off, but he came from way back in this moto after his second place in the first moto. That's really going to mix up his overall. As holy crap, Donovan got sideways.
Oh my gosh.
Off the locomotive roller.
Yeah, all I saw was Donovan just disappearing pretty much upside down behind the roller, and then when it switched to the front camera, he had somehow rode out of that.
He was getting dirty there. He's actually getting sideways going up the hill as well, as Sean Klein is doing everything he can to move around him. Klein's got a run on him.
Oh, contact.
They're both down.
Whoa.
Donovan, I thought, might ride out of that thing, but not going to make it happen. So that's going to allow Jack Zars, Phil Bull, and Brock Pearson all to go by. Terrible start for Craig Leake, who runs back in 16th. Daniel Mills, 17th. William St. Laurent, Tyler Lewis, and Andrew Jennings will be your last guy in the points for right now. Looks like we didn't miss much at the front, other than Jeremy Smith is now closed in on Walter Gebhardt. Try to give battle for the 3rd spot.
He is shooting down Salty Walty's dreams of winning this overall today. As they run right now, Gebhardt and Seidhoff would tie on points, but obviously the second moto better score for Seidhoff would give him the overall. So Smith passing Gebhardt pretty much only means that it just solidifies Seidhoff in that spot. It doesn't change the overall. But Gebhardt obviously does not want to lose any more points if he can help it. Might not have a choice if you have a champion like Smith breathing down your neck, though.
Walter's had just such a good season going. I've seen a lot of things mix up here. Kind of a different style track here in Lakewood, and it's mixed up the results a little bit. I mean, obviously Seidhoff is still the man to beat, but Gebhardt has weathered the storm and shown that he can do it here on a completely different style track as well.
Yeah, I mean, mentioned in the first moto, definitely the Gebhardt outdoors that we're seeing is not the Gebhardt indoors that we saw, and he has really turned it around. So it's a positive sign to see. Hopefully he can keep carrying this momentum throughout the outdoors and perhaps be another title contender to give it to Seidhoff. I mean, obviously, if he stays where he is, he at least matched Seidhoff on points today. So if you can't beat him, join him, I guess.
Yeah, it's the next best thing, right? I mean, coming into this thing, Gebhardt came in 6th in points, so this is definitely going to bump him, as Kyle Robb, who was 5th in points, is not riding, at least not the 250 class this week. We might see him in the 450 class. We'll have to wait and see on that. But, I mean, he's not out of this thing completely. He's sitting, let's see, doing some quick math in my head, 23 points out of the lead, so...
Yeah, that's not a lot.
In 6th.
Sure. That just takes one bad moto for Seidhoff, or one, you know, anything could happen in this
just
series.
A hot streak.
We've seen guys have computer updates and it pulls them out of the points lead, so who knows?
Walter's got to keep going, though, because this thing's not over either. Mitchell chipped into the lead a little bit last time around, and I think he just made a mistake at the top of the hill. But he's kind of yo-yoing in this lead with Seidhoff, but he's making Seidhoff continue to push the pace.
It's impressive that Seidhoff, even though he's always been so solid this year, that even with the lead, it's just he doesn't crack under the pressure, not one bit. These guys are running quick lap times behind him. He's not getting super far away like you mentioned, and he's just constantly staying at a good pace, not overthinking it or overdoing it.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely working on being consistent, as he had a 207 last time around. It was a low one, but the 3 guys behind him were all in the 206s.
We'll see if that pace that these guys are pushing helps them in the long run. If they can stay
Mitchell's
on 2 wheels.
Down with a lapper. He gets hung up with Aaron Bonneau. Bonneau made a little mistake, fell down, and grabs Mitchell. So now Gebhardt is going to be much closer to Mitchell, and Jeremy Smith's coming right with him.
Yeah, I could be mistaken, but believe that might have been the 422 of Reno Brennan.
Oh, yes, it is 422 of Brennan. Sorry.
Just wanted to make sure we're not calling out the wrong guy, but no.
And it
no
was
biggie.
an honest mistake,
Yeah.
not a take out of the leader from what I saw.
Right.
Definitely not even calling him out, but yes, it was not Aaron Bonneau. It was Reno Brennan. I went back and checked. Thanks for correcting me on that, Mr. Kellen Brauer, the dictionary of MX simulated knowledge.
Oh, I don't know about all that.
Hey, let's give a call up to Alex Carlo real quick. We're still running in the 5th spot on the Evergood machine. He is putting in a great race, weathered the storm from Devin Ryan to pull up a nice gap on him, and Carlos kind of riding around all by himself right now. Great performance from him.
Yeah, I feel like we saw this type of ride out of Carlo, I believe maybe back at Hangtown, where he started kind of with these guys and then faded off of their pace, but then stayed inside of the top 10, well inside of the top 10, and finished there. So he obviously has the pace to be a top 10 guy every week, but it really just depends on his start, it seems.
Battle for 8th is on right now. Jordan Moxie putting the pressure on Jeremy Cohenauer. Jordan Moxie, sorry, I think I said Jeremy Moxie. And then, as I said, he is down on the ground. But go back one more spot, and you find James Schuler and a whole host of guys. Jack Zars, now Moxie going to be in there. Phil Bull, Brock Pearson, all right in the mix with him.
Oh, Pearson and Moxie, I think that is. Yeah, getting side by side, and they're almost going to go 3-wide with Bull over the finish line.
Oh, Pearson, what a save.
So we got...
Moxie going to try to go inside on Bull. They're going to drag race up the hill.
This is really a world event here. We've got an Aussie battling with a British rider in Phil Bull and Jordan Moxie, with another Aussie and Brock Pearson right behind them.
Oh, Zars is going to go down. Is he going to get hit? Yes, Moxie's going to clip him.
Did Moxie save that? I can't find him. No, he did not, huh? He went off the side of the track.
No, he went flying off the track.
Just saw him exit stage right on the screen and thought maybe he had a chance of saving that, as Pearson is down at the top of the hill as well.
Now the Volcom teammate's going to do battle. Bill Bull, after a good top 10 first moto, is closed up on James Schuler, who has one of his better runs going.
Man, just to talk about these Volcom guys for a second, it's great to see them both riding so well. Not accustomed to seeing either of these guys really be top 10 speed. But I was thinking back to last year, we saw the rise of Derek Thorpe on that Team Volcom machine last year, who was also a 3-digit guy and ended up getting national number 30 basically due to a fantastic outdoor season. So whatever they're feeding those guys for breakfast at Team Volcom is really working. Those guys are really turning the game around and starting to put in some solid rides every week, which is great to see.
I think they always have a bowl of Emigos in the morning. Phil Bull, actually, I think Schuler let him go by down that big sweeper. Just kind of pulled over and said, go on ahead.
Emigos are good, but I've always gone for the Honey Nut Sweeneyos. Those are my favorite.
I miss Sweeney.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. Looking for a battle, the closest one. I don't even know here in the top 10. I guess there we go, right at the... Sean Klein has just moved around Brock Pearson. Jack Zar's still giving chase. Pretty spread out here at Thunder Valley.
Yeah, well, we are 25 minutes in now. Got 2 laps to go after that, but whoa, Pearson really slinging it around, trying to go after Klein, almost goes off the track.
Slingshot!
He almost had it too. He's laid over on the outside, had some great drive, but then just lost the rear end just a touch, and it shot him back across the track. So gonna have to go back to work, try to get the rookie.
Yeah, I expected a little more from Sean Klein after that great ending to the first moto, and he was, like I said, he had moved up to 8th at one point in this moto. I was like, man, he's coming through the pack. He's going to be a threat for a top 5, but then he went backwards and kind of stayed back in that 12 to 14 range for a while. Maybe he's got his wheels back under him now. The late stages of this moto and trying to do some damage control, find himself at least inside the top 10.
Yeah, it seems like with these guys, and I've definitely kind of experienced this before, when you're able to start up front and ride that pace the whole moto, you kind of get accustomed to it and you get a little bit into a tunnel vision of knowing what your lines are and how to hit them, and even if you make a mistake, it's not too bad. But when you start in the back, it's a whole different story of trying to find your pace and your comfort level going through a field of riders that, for lack of a better word, are going slower than you. And it's not as easy to do.
Probably difficult just to get a flow and some momentum going when there's a guy down in your line, or you're running into him or bouncing off somebody all the time. I'm guessing it makes things difficult.
Right, absolutely.
Duh, I'm always right. Holy crap, Bryce Whelan's laying down some lap times. He just moved into 5th around Alex Carlo, and I looked down at the pit board, 2:04.9 last time around, but a 2:03.8. Let's check out Bryce Whelan for a minute. He's got 28 seconds to make up if he's going to try to run down Jeremy Smith. That's probably not likely, but Whelan is definitely going fast.
Yeah, hot damn, a 2:03.8 on a 250F. We were talking a little bit earlier, Chris, before the show about Fresquez laying down a 1:58 on a 450, but that was the only guy under 2 minutes in the 450 class even, and Whelan is somehow able to make this 250F machine run 2:03.8s in the race. That's insane.
Trying to pick up on the lines he's using. I see he's using the far inside there, which I haven't seen a lot of. But other than that, I mean, it just looks like ridiculous corner speed, which is something we saw even on the 450 in Supercross.
Yeah, well,
wish he could get rid of the crashes, because man, he is locked in speed-wise.
Whelan had a decent Supercross season, to say the least. He did win his first ever 250 Supercross main event back at San Diego, and then I believe rounded out inside of the top 10 comfortably in points. So obviously has a little bit of confidence to build off from that 250 Supercross campaign going into 250 outdoors.
Right, I know he stayed on the 450 instead of dropping back down to the 250s and put himself into that top 15 before the series went back to his coast. He's trying to work on, I think that's actually the 422 again. He's got to try to work around.
Reno Brennan.
And wow, he just carried some speed around that outside, just dropped so far into that valley. Crossroads doesn't even really lose any speed. I said it was at 28 seconds. It's down to 24 right now on Jeremy Smith. So he's got a lap time here, even with these lappers. I'm curious what he's going to run. This time 2:05.1 with the lappers and that mistake that we saw.
Oh,
there's another one of those mistakes, though. Now he's got to try to get back on.
It was a decently safe track re-entry. Probably missed a timing gate, unfortunately, so might get some cuts. That is insane. Through lappers, 2:05. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, that's 3 laps under the... I mean, it was a 2:05.1, too, super low, and he's got a 2:04 and a 2:03. And keep in mind, I mean, I just actually saw another 2:05 from Colton Mitchell, 2:05.7, your second-place rider. His gap's down to 8.4 on Seidhoff. Seidhoff's only got 2:06.4, which I mean, 2:06s are ripping. We said that in the first moto when they laid it down. We're like, oh, damn.
Yeah, only a 2:06.4, just being modest.
3 seconds, though. Holy crap,
I know. That is insane. All right, so taking a look at Seidhoff here. I think he's just going to get to the line. It's going to be close, but I think he's going to cross before 30 minutes here. Coming down, 29:45 on the clock. Yeah, he's going to get there with about 10 seconds to spare. 29:51 over the line, so 3 to go at Thunder Valley.
That gap's down to 5.8. Mitchell, 2:05 flat last time
here
around.
We go.
A 2:10.9, and Seidhoff is off the bike. We're going to have a new leader here in about 1 second.
Colton Mitchell goes to the race lead. Meanwhile, that just gave Walter Gebhardt the overall, if it stands like that. Colton Mitchell to the front, Seidhoff back to second. He is looking at 3-2 moto scores to Gebhardt's 1-3, and Seidhoff is going to go after it here. He is already charging.
Without a doubt, and Walter Gebhardt can't just chill because Jeremy Smith is still lurking back there.
So we're going to have 2 battles to watch, and both affect the overall standings coming down to the line here. Man, oh man. Just doing some quick math in my head. 42 points is what Seidhoff would be on. Gebhardt would end up on 43 points if he were to get passed by Smith. So Gebhardt would still win, going 1-4 to Seidhoff's 3-2.
All right, the bonus point for winning that first moto would come into play, but that might not even matter as Seidhoff is pushing hard right now to catch Colton Mitchell. But if these guys get together, Gebhardt not that far back. He's 10.5 out of the lead right now, and this thing's, we got 2.5 laps to go. With 2 laps when they get to the finish here, a lot can definitely shake up. As seen, Mitchell lays down the 205 flat, and almost immediately Seidhoff hits the deck.
Yeah, so now Seidhoff is giving chase, and he might start laying down the burners. Mitchell has to kind of readjust his focus maybe now that he's leading the race. He's got a different mindset, but he's just got to keep clicking off the laps like he was, and he should be good.
Yeah, it should be easy just to keep clicking 205s off, no problem.
Seidhoff.
Mistake from Seidhoff. That's going to allow Gebhardt to get even closer.
How quickly things have changed. A 2:19 for Seidhoff. 5 seconds back of your race leader now, Colton Mitchell, with 2 laps to go in Thunder Valley. It's crunch time. Who's going to win the overall today? It is either going to be Seidhoff if he can go up and win this moto, or it is going to be Gebhardt. Man, it's just incredible to watch these 250 guys carry the speed that they're able to carry around some of these corners. Just wide open in so many different places.
There's a battle for the top 5 right now as Whelan's dropped the spot to Carlo, and I find this extremely interesting. A good start from Carlo, 2:08.7 fast lap, versus Whelan, who had a good start but went down about 800 times, has a 2:03.8 fast lap. So 5 seconds different in their fast laps, but yet Whelan is behind Carlo late in the race. Goes to show eliminating mistakes, how important it is.
I think Whelan's charge here, though, isn't going to come unwarranted. I think he might still get Carlo back.
Yeah, I mean, he's all over his back wheel now and carrying some ridiculous speed. Over the locomotive roller, gets dirty.
That is insane. Carlo looked like he got that rut a little bit better, maybe. Both funneling down to the inside.
Whelan almost rear ends him in the corner. He's got a way better drive up the hill, but he's going to be on the outside, and they have a lapper in front of him. Whelan scrubs off the triple and just lays into the throttle.
It's 87 and Medina contact, and Whelan's down. Somehow Carlo rode out of that. That was impressive, I guess.
There, honestly, Carlo just the little engine that could, and Whelan. Wow.
Contact, and Carlo survives. White flag is out. Colton Mitchell is leading this race. He's looking to pick up his first moto win of the year. But can Seidhoff run him down? I don't think he's going to have enough time. Meanwhile, Gebhardt is all alone in third. Smith has dropped the anchor a little bit. So it comes down to the front two.
4-second gap, and Mitchell ran a 2:07 to 2:06.5 from Seidhoff last time around. So Seidhoff's still pushing, obviously going for the win, doing everything he can. But Mitchell's got a little bit of a gap. Just got to be mistake-free.
Yeah, obviously his speed is there, so I think if a situation arises here where maybe he has a small tip over or something where Seidhoff can get back onto him, Mitchell knows how to run the pace that he needs to win this moto. He might just be managing that gap here, trying to minimize any mistakes, run a clean last lap here. Looking clean through these couple tight corners here in the top of the racetrack. Now working down to the backside of the racetrack over the triple. No pressure from behind, has a lapper behind him, in fact. Although you can hear it, Seidhoff is charging, man. Look at him jump through these bumps, giving it his all. I think he's going to run just out of time, though. Man, oh man.
starting quite a streak. I just went to check on our one to watch. He has rage quit. That's the 3rd time out of 4 that we've had a one to watch and they've rage quit.
Oh man.
The curse is real. Jake Rose did in the first moto. We had Zoa Cross do it when we started at a Hangtown.
Wow.
Oh,
All
man.
right. Well, up front, finally, the speed pays off. The number 10 of Colton Mitchell brings it home, and he wins 250 Moto 2 here at Thunder Valley, ahead of Jared Seidhoff, who misses out on the overall by 1 spot. If only he could have hung on for the win. Gebhardt cleans out a lapper by mistake.
Zoa Cross.
But he's going to bring it down and pick up, I believe, his first career overall victory. 1-3 on the day. Gebhardt gets it done at Thunder Valley. I'm sure he's going to be elated about that one. Jeremy Smith, number 4 is P4 here in Moto 2. And then Alex Carlo survived the attack from Bryce Whelan. Literally, there was contact.
Yeah. Great ride for Carlo. Just consistent.
Yeah, gets a good start, runs a solid pace, stays up at the front, and it pays off with the top 5 here as he will take home 5th. Whelan is going to grab a 6th, just falls short of Carlo. How about Kohenauer? He's been like hovering around the top 10 all race, ends up charging through into the 7th spot. It's a pretty good ride.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the OGs. Don Klein climbs back to 8th. Nice recovery. Devin Ryan, a good day here at Thunder Valley in 9th. And Phil Bull, another top 10 ride. So he went top 10 both motos. Comes around in 10th. See Brock Pearson down. So that's going to allow Craig Leak to close in. See what happens here. Leak goes down. He would have had that spot, I think. But Pearson's going to come around at 11th. Craig Leak. Daniel Mills. Jack Zars is the last rider on the lead lap on the 718. Whew.
All right, Daniel Mills comes to the line. He picks up a 13th. And Jack Zars, last rider on the lead lap, right behind Reno Brennan coming down by the mechanics area. And cuts her in. Let's see. Looks like Andrew Jennings got a spot on Zoa Cross. And that's it. Colton Mitchell wins Moto 2. Walter Gebhardt wins the overall. That is all the action we have got to bring you here in the 250 class from Thunder Valley. But don't touch that URL bar. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming right back here on the other side with 450 action from Thunder Valley. Thanks for watching the 250 action of the Ride365.com Nationals, powered by Versus PC. And we'll see you guys in a bit.